And before we get into the episode, I must shout out my lovely hosts, the great folks at Last Man Standing Productions, your home for all your content creation needs, whether it be a photo shoot of your family, a photo shoot of your business, or that smash hit you're working on. You need a music video? Check them out. Last Man Standing Productions, your home for all your content creation needs. You can catch them on Instagram and Facebook. Let's get into the episode. Welcome back to the Fantasy Pavilion, your home for fantasy sports. And of course, welcome back to another episode of the Chopping Block, where I bring you guys onto the show to present your team. And in the hot seat, putting his team on the chopping block, my guest is an FPL enthusiast, FPL pundit, FPL stats innovator. You can find him co-hosting the Net That Whole show with FPL Mariner. You can also find his articles, FPL matchups and FPL scouting report on the allaboutfpl.com. The recently bronze winners on the FCAs, right? Recently hosted FCAs, they would have won bronze. Of course, his Twitter handle is FPLLENS. His name is Gabriel, but he prefers just Gabe. Gabe, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm both excited and nervous to be here on the chopping block, but I guess those two emotions seem to go hand in hand, don't they?
Right. So without any further ado, on the chopping block is quick and fast. I bring up your team, Gabe. As you guys know the format, we bring up the team. And Gabe, run us through your team, why you pick these players, and I will try my utmost to banter you and oppose you as best as possible. So from goalkeeper to subs, let's go.
All right, I'll try my utmost to have the thickest skin for this chopping block episode for you here. So in goal for the Game Week 12, I have Foster. Across the back line, I have a back five of Cancelo, Diaz, Trent, Alexander-Arnold, Livramento, and Reece James. Midfield three of Heung-min Son. That's Kai Havertz and Salah, of course. And then a front two of Tony and Jimenez. On the bench, of course, I have red-carded Sanchez in the doghouse there. And then I have the embarrassing trio, the disgusting three of Demarai Gray, Adama Traore. I might have to cry every time I say his name because he's still in my team. And then, of course, Scarlett, the non-playing forward and Tottenham forward.
All right. So why Foster? Why not Mendy? Why not Allison? Why Foster?
I don't see much in much difference in the goalkeepers. So I try to keep that budget. And as long as you don't tank the goalkeeper position, I think you're okay. If you have Ramsdale, great. If you have Sanchez, great. If you have Guaita, I think that's fine. Foster, I got Foster when I wildcarded, and I heard from a good friend of mine at Sixth Goal, who's the Watford correspondent for the Planet FPL pod. He told me that that Foster, that Bachmann wasn't going to make it, and Bachmann, and just hinting at the stats a little bit, Bachmann's expected goals prevented were kind of supported that view. So I brought Foster into my wild card just as a backup, and he plays, and I'm glad to have him this week. I say that now. Watch United wake up and him get negative points, right?
No, I always advocate on this channel the low-key goalkeepers, not just the price point, but the saves that they bring in return. Those save points are crucial. And it's a bonus if they get a clean sheet and about 6 saves. That's brilliant. That's a great day at the office. I won't touch your backline. Your backline is brilliant. I have no issues at all. I will just say maybe Diaz is the only problem that I have there. Diaz has not been returning as much as Cancelo, and I've been recommending the double up on Chelsea assets in defense. But this is a solid backline. Midfield, little risky. You have Son and Havertz. I mean, Havertz finally returned last game week, and Son has been up and down. He didn't start his form as he did in the initial game weeks, but solid back, solid mid. Now, your front line. Now, I know it's very hard finding strikers right now, Gabe. Strikers or at least strikers that are returning, right? Last week was only Pookie and Armstrong. That's terrible, right? And I happened to have Pookie. I didn't let him go as yet. I had him since the Watford game, and I never let him go. So I just had him by happenstance, right? But Tony, 5 games so far, no blanks. What give you the confidence to put them in there?
Honestly, so Tony is a pick. One, first and foremost, the fixtures, and I think good fixtures can bring good form. And
Right.
when you watch Tony play, I don't think he's necessarily in poor form. I think he may be in poor finishing form, but he
Right.
also hasn't gotten the opportunities that somebody like maybe Mboma on his team has. But when you look at this team and you look at what they've done and what got them here, was it Mbomo's chances or was it Tony's chances?
Mm.
Right. So I think this team has played well and they've been missing their one centerpiece from last season, and that's Tony. So I don't expect Tony to stay quiet all season. And if you expect Tony to not stay quiet all season, when do you expect him to return? It would be in these upcoming fixtures. So it's both that idea but also the idea, and you talked about this, forwards are not returning, are they?
Yeah.
So I don't want money up there. I want the cheapest investment possible that could have a chance at returning something. And I like that in Tony. And honestly, people are binning Jimenez, and I understand after 3 game weeks time. This game week, I don't think is the game week to bin him, even though he does have a tough matchup. And I may not even start Jimenez. That we'll talk about that, I guess, when we get to my the transfers that I'm thinking of that may put Jimenez on the bench.
Well, the thing with Jimenez, I back that pick because what I realized with him, he and Wang Chang have been linking up really well. And I think that link-up play, not just with Wolves, it was helping Leicester for a while too, Iheanacho and Vardy. Even I would dare say Lacazette over, the double up on top was really helping out the other strikers. So Jimenez is not a bad shout. You will your subs, I've been banking on Gray since about game week 3. I brought him in since game week 3, and he has been returned for about 4 of those game weeks. And then, of course, when the Corey got injured, of course, there's Richarlison not returning. So hopefully he can link up with him. But that the Corey injury really has killed Everton. And of course, I see holding on to Sanchez for their life. Yeah, just hold on to him. I don't see any reason to get rid of Sanchez for one red card or he missed a match ban. Yeah.
Right.
So Gabriel, solid. As I say, just maybe Diaz, Tony. Because for me, you say he has easy fixtures coming up, but Norwich was an easy fixture.
Mm-hmm.
I keep bringing that point up because a lot of people are bantering me and I'm like, no, that was an easy fixture, Tony. But as you said, the chances keep falling to the wrong guy in Mbeumo. Mbeumo keeps getting the great chances. I think if Tony got half those chances, you never know.
He could be hauling. The one thing I'll say, well, a couple things. Norwich also have a new manager now. Dean Smith has been announced as the Norwich manager, so that could change things as well and make things more difficult. But I do want to defend the Diaz pick a little bit because I have seen. I mean, I understand people wanting to get Reece James in because of his dominant form and just what he's doing kind of everywhere, right? But Diaz, he's playing on the best defense statistically, right? And we will get to stats later. But Manchester City have by far the lowest XG conceded at 7.46. Just to give a comparison, second place is Crystal Palace for XG conceded, and they've conceded 10.8 XG compared to 7.46 from Man City. To add to that, Man City they've only conceded 10 big chances this season, whereas Palace again is second in this regard, joint second with West Ham with 14 before you get to Chelsea, Liverpool, Brighton, Wolves, and Leicester with 16. So the stats kind of favor Man City. I do like their, as you get closer to the fixture crunch, I like having that one center back that I know will pretty much always play. And then he can be good on bonuses as long as the attackers don't go crazy with goals, right? Then Diaz could be on bonus as well.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, all right, we'll wrap it up there. Gabe, as usual, I like my guests to just give one solid piece of advice before we close up the chopping block. Just one for newbies or for the veterans, any solid piece of advice, something that you use every week, something solid.
Honestly, what has helped me the most, so in FPL, I think in general, is have you heard of the phrase prefer a feast of friends to the giant family?
No, I'm not familiar with that. Okay.
So it's nice to have this big community, and I love interacting with everybody, and the different perspectives are great, right? But your feast of friends, it's that small group at your dinner table that you really respect the way they play the game. Maybe it's slightly different than your own, but have a small like council that you really bounce your ideas off of, that you really trust. I think that would be
Yeah.
my biggest advice.
Well, all right. I like that. Solid. All right, guys. So that's been the chopping block with Gabe. You look out in a few. We're going to be of course posting another episode of our international break special where we break down his specialty, stats, and of course we discuss his algorithm, his metric that he created, NetXG. So stay tuned for that. Of course, guys, as usual, my solid piece of advice: always click that save button. And as usual, happy picking.